Hey, Baji!
Hi, Sufi.
You have been family tripping.
I have been family tripping.
Really impressive.
Yeah, and it's going to kind of just continue here. But yeah, I went to Ireland for a wedding. Our good friend Brendan Hunt and his now wife, Shannon Nelson. I don't know if she took his name.
Yeah.
I don't know. That
Who
doesn't
knows?
matter anymore.
Not important. We love her either way.
So we went, we still haven't had time to take our honeymoon. We've had a bunch of trips. We had that Amsterdam trip earlier in the year. We had this pop up.
It's almost been a full year.
It's almost been a full year, and it's going to wait a little bit longer.
Then I'm sorry, I don't think it's a honeymoon. I think you guys are just going on vacation. I think if it's after 12 months.
So we're not letting another wedding dictate what we're doing for our honeymoon, but we did take the opportunity to go away for like 8 days before we met up with everyone at the wedding and just sort of bopped around Ireland. And it was fantastic. It was just great.
I would imagine a beautiful time of the year to be in Ireland.
Yeah, it was really nice. I mean, lots of rain off and on, lots of windy days. But we landed and do you watch Bad Sisters?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're big fans of Bad Sisters, and
Same
very
here.
often they go to the 40-foot, which is sort of a place people go jump in. I think the Irish Sea, but it's like on the south of Dublin, and we looked it up, and we landed at like 2:30, and we got a nice hotel for the first night because we're just going to be taking this long flight,
And it's your honeymoon, whether you guys
and
want to call it that or not.
And we rented a car and we drove right to the 40-foot from the plane and had a little backpack with our bathing suits in it and one travel towel. And it was just so great to sort of drive up and park and walk down there. And there are these like old Irish dudes. And I sort of just, scanned it over and then walked back to the car. And a guy was like, "Oh, you decided against it, did you?" And I was like, No. We're going to do it. I just wanted to sort of get a lay of the land. And we went in that water, and it was great. It woke you right up. Mackenzie was sort of intimidated by the cold, but also knew that she would regret it and was so happy that she got in. Also, I mean, it is kind of the warmest time of the year, but when these Irish people get in the water, no one screams.
Yeah.
No one has that sort of that yelp of like, "Oh my," they're just very quiet. And
Well, I think they're just kind of resigned to what the world gives them. This is what the water is. Complaining's not going to change it.
I did ask a guy who was in the water as we're sort of, just sort of treading water. I was like, "Why does no one yell?" And he was like, "Oh, if you come in the middle of winter, people will be taking the Lord's name in vain, but he won't be here." And also to our friend Melanie from Sligo from one of our listener episodes. I think I've gotten my Irish accent perfectly. Everyone over there.
Oh, good.
It's just
That's
perfect.
great.
Yeah.
Why do they call it the 40-foot? Is it?
I don't know.
Okay,
I didn't look it
interesting.
up.
Great.
I know it used to be just for men. And now, obviously, women go there as well, and there were plenty of women there as well.
I had Sharon Horgan on my show, and I did say that even though it's surrounded by water, I never think of Irish people going to the beach or getting in the ocean.
Yeah.
And so that show has opened my eyes to the fact that they do a great amount of swimming.
Yeah.
With that said, I, just from watching the show, thought that water looked cold.
Yeah, that water's cold. And also on that show, and a couple people when we were there had these great long jackets that are sort of like towels on the inside and have hoods, and they're called like changing coats or something. And you're jealous when you see those because getting in the water is cold, but then getting out of the water is almost the coldest because it's windy. You're not dry yet. You have to like put your shoes and socks back on. But then, I mean, the rest of the trip, it was great. We went hiking in Wicklow, which was fantastic. We went to Cashel. We went to Kenmare, drove the Ring of Kerry, the Ring of Skellig, a couple nights in Dingle, up to Galway, Athlone.
Dingle used to be only all men only as well. That's how it got its name.
Yeah. But we we rented a car, and some of these roads are so small, so skinny. And, you're on the opposite side of the road.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit jarring. And then sometimes when you are passing another car, I always inhale as if I'm trying to make the car skinnier.
Yeah, you want to narrow up the cart. Sure.
Yeah. But it seems like you're like in the center aisle of an airplane and someone's coming back from the bathroom and you're going to the bathroom, and it's like, this won't work, and you just make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fabulous trip. The Irish people are so nice.
Yeah.
Like, they're all so nice. They're all so charming. What I really wanted to find was a pub. I told Mackenzie, I was like, I want an old woman with a violin and an old guy with like a drum, and I just want some like traditional.
And you couldn't
Irish
find one. There's all the pubs.
We found this tiny room in this pub in Dingle, and these two guys, Matt and Jeremy, who just play traditional stuff, and it was a violin and a guitar, and Jeremy a little more shy, not really engaging with the crowd, but between songs they would take huge chunks of time where they would just chat to each other. And then Matt was very engaging to the room as well. And we liked them so much that we saw them the next night at a different pub. And then they told us there was a sing-song up the road at Kennedy's. So we went to Kennedy's and stopped into this little room, also equally tiny, with these 5 Irish women sitting along a bench just singing along, calling out songs that they wanted to hear. One woman just sang a cappella for a minute while the musicians tried to catch up to her and sort of find the chords, and no hesitation in her whatsoever. And it was so, so lovely. Like, I couldn't recommend it enough. And I feel like we had another week in the trip, and Mackenzie was like, I really want to come back here. And it's like, we have another week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good, though. That's how you know you're a great trip. And again, we had a wonderful trip with Mom and Dad a few years back, and that was around the same time of year. Beautiful September trip to Dublin. But I'm jealous of your trip with Mackenzie, because when Alexi and I, the first time we went to Ireland, it was late December, and my memory of it was that it was a gray puddle.
Yeah.
And I think a green sort of September, late August is really when you want to getting over there.
Yeah. It was. It couldn't be more green. It was stereotypical how green it was. And then the wedding, I gotta say, like, it was amazing. I know that I've gotten a lot of credit for my best man speech at your wedding. Joe Kelly, I will say, our friend, really, really crushed it. And then Shannon's brother, Scott, gave a speech, and there's a lot of performers in that room, and he's not a performer, and gosh, did he just...
That's the dream. That's the dream. I mean, we had some of those at my wedding, some of those at your wedding. Like, it's really fun when people are like, you know what? I'm not going to be intimidated by the fact that some of the people at this wedding do this for a living. Like, I'm going to speak from the heart. I'm going to be super funny. And I do think those are often the ones that steal the show and have a much longer tail in people's memories.
Yeah. So it was just wonderful, and got to see a lot of old friends, and was so glad we made the trip. And pretty tired coming back, but
yeah. But here you are doing a podcast because
here I am.
This is your first love. And I will say, I Googled it. There's no real answer to why they call it the 40-foot. Like, there's a couple different theories, none of which I feel like are interesting enough to share. But I think that is, to me, a wonderfully Irish thing that they have a name for something and they can't agree on what it's from.
Yeah. It does, like, there's a sort of an iron fence or some sort of, I don't know if it's iron. I'm not an expert in those things, but it's, there's something that says the 40-foot on this gate that's right there. And I don't know what. Yeah. So
sound off in the comments. Let us know if it's iron.
Yeah.
If you're from Sligo.
We did, I will say, people say Galway is great.
Yeah.
And we had some reservations booked along the way, and we we're just like, well, I mean, Galway is the only city we're going to, so we'll just like roll in there and we'll book it on the way in. We had gone for this hike in the Burren National Park, which was great. Then we went out to the Cliffs of Moher, and we were going to be rolling into town around 7:30. And Mackenzie was on her phone trying to book us a hotel, and was like kind of quiet. It was about an hour and a half drive, and she's quiet, and she's like, I'm just not seeing anything. And we get into town. I was like, just find a restaurant, and we'll go to a restaurant, and we'll sort it out there over dinner. So she finds a good restaurant, and we park. We pay to park. We go into the restaurant, and they're like, do you have a booking? And we say no, and they're like, sorry, yeah, we can't. We're full up. And we're like, any suggestions? And they point us across the road. We go there. They're like, do you have a booking? No, we're full up. And we can't find a place to eat. We see a hotel. We just pop in. We're like, do you have any rooms? And they say no. Like, yeah, it's pretty full tonight. We're like, just this hotel? And they're like, no, Galway. And they call 5 hotels, no availability. Like, you look at any of the sites that you would book a hotel on, booking.com, hotels.com, whatever, Expedia, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. And we were on this like very touristy street, trying to find food. We went to a tapas place, and they were like, "Oh, it's only cheese because it's Wednesday."
Sure.
Yeah, which didn't make sense. Which also, as a vegan, not very good for me. So we walked out, and there was this hotel above a pub on this street, and I just popped in to see, that we were like looking for anything, and they were like, "We just had a cancellation." And it was kind of an expensive room, and we were like, are we going to take it? And I had to ask the guy, I was like, are you a nice hotel? And he was like, well, I can show you the room. And we took it. It was fine, but we got out of town first thing in the morning. We had a real swing and miss in Galway and just had to get out of there.
And I just want to let our listeners know I'm as shocked as you are that someone who hosts a travel podcast books their hotel 90 minutes out of the town they're staying in.
Well, we did it in Kenmare to great success.
That's good. No, look, it's going to work some of the times.
Yeah, it worked in all the small towns. To think that a city would not have a hotel room is pretty surprising.
Well, I love that you're like, because I'm easy, and then meanwhile you're like, is this a nice hotel?
Well, I wasn't going to pay more than I had paid.
I'm a serious traveler.
I
you might not know that
pay.
because I had to eat cheese despite being a vegan. The only thing I could get was fucking manchego at the fucking Spanish fucking tapas place.
Yeah, well, I will say we went to this tapas place. We were the only people in there.
Yeah, for Wednesday cheese night.
I don't know. Yeah, so plan ahead for Galway, everybody. Should have gone to Sligo. Should have gone up to
Sligo. Brian Baumgartner is our guest today. He's a fantastic fella who I've been lucky enough to meet over the years, and he's getting in the podcast game as well.
He's got he's got a golf podcast
with Kenny Mayne, Cooper Manning.
Yeah, and we need a fourth.
Yeah. And but today he will be our third. Please do welcome back. It's nice to have you back in the States, Pashy.
Thanks, Sufi. It's good to be here.
And enjoy this conversation. Enjoy the episode. Enjoy Jeff Tweedy.
Family chips with the Meyers brothers. Family chips with the Meyers brothers. Here we go.
Yes.
Oh boy, here we go.
Somebody's got their own podcast now because they got a pretty little mic.
Yeah.
How are you, Brian?
Well, I want to make sure I center it so it. I think it's a sponsorship deal.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. No, it's not. I'm good. I'm good.
It's lovely to see you. Congratulations on your new podcast with a couple of real gents, Kenny Mayne and Cooper Manning.
Yes. Gents is one way to describe them, for sure.
How long have you guys been pals?
0 minutes. Like,
Great.
I'm telling you, everyone keeps saying, like, how did this, what's going on? How did this, and I honestly, it was clearly the guys over at Smartless know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they approached me, and weirdly, I take my kids to school in the morning, and I typically listen to Dan Patrick, and I'm telling you, not like less than a week before they approached me, I drop them at school. I go to a coffee shop. Like when I'm home, this is what I try to do, and I stayed in my car because Cooper Manning was on with Dan. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is so funny. And I sat in my car and listened to him and the stories that he was telling. And obviously, Kenny Mayne he's a legend.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where he's been, although now that I've spent time with him, some rock somewhere crawled under and just couldn't find his way out. But I'm having so much fun with these guys.
I remember I've met Cooper Manning, I believe twice, which were the 2 times his brothers hosted SNL.
Okay.
And like each time in like a very brief window, I had a moment of like, oh, so like you're the funny one. And I'm not. And by the way,
and the other Mannings are very funny.
Exactly. Like that's the thing I want to say. Like I never was like to the other ones, like, well, these guys don't have a fastball. Like they're so funny. And then he is just unbelievable.
So when I started saying like, yeah, I think I'm going to be doing this thing with Cooper Manning. And there were guys, Charlie Hoffman, PGA Tour player, who I play golf with on occasion when he's home, immediately goes, oh, Cooper is the absolute best. Like he is the one of one Manning. And I kept hearing this from like all these people. And I'm like, how does this guy have this legendary status? I think he runs New Orleans, actually. It used to be the politicians, but now it's the Mannings, and he still sits there on top of his throne. Just such a good guy.
Jog my memory, he was in college football or high school football, he had a back injury.
I think I think it was end of high school. That's a great question, and one that I should be able to answer.
Yeah, but he was a really, really talented wide receiver.
Wide receiver, that's exactly right. Yeah, and a very bad injury, which stopped him. But obviously, the genes run through his family with Arch now. And in fact, I'm sure we'll talk about this in a minute, but I grew up in Georgia, and I was a huge University of Georgia fan. And about 4 or 5 years ago, kind of got reintroduced into the program there at Georgia. And so I've gone to some SEC championship games and the Florida-Georgia game again, which I hadn't done since I was a kid. And I'm now a big fan. And I'm like, when I met him, I'm like, we're going to kick your ass this year, Texas. And now, like a week ago, I said to him, like, you're making this really difficult because, like, this is your son. Like, this is your actual life and legacy. And I love you now. And so it's going to be complicated. I think we're both going to go to the game in mid-November down there in Athens.
Amazing. My memory, I mean, again, meeting the Manning family is such a thrill because they are everything you want them to be.
Yes.
And Josh and I went to Northwestern, and I guess it was the year you were still in school, but Tennessee beat Northwestern in the Citrus Bowl. Peyton Manning led.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember mentioning to Archie Manning, the legendary Archie Manning, that I went to Northwestern. He goes, oh, I'll never forget that game. We were whooping you guys pretty good, and we all started chanting SEC, and then there weren't many Northwestern people there, but they started chanting SAT, and I thought, well, that's awful funny. That's awful funny. And it's just like, oh my God, you are such a gentleman.
I know.
Yeah,
they're all so nice and also profound shit talkers. Just absolute profound. Yes.
The other, since we're talking about golf, I hope it's seen you more recently than this, but I saw you out at, you know where I'm going to say?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
What is it? The Lake Tahoe Pro-Am golf tournament.
No, please, Seth.
What?
It's the American Century Championship.
Thank you very much.
Which is very important because everyone refers to it, of course, as Tahoe. Are you going to Tahoe? Are you?
Yeah.
Or did you play in Tahoe? Yes, go ahead. We saw each other there.
We saw each other there. I had done stand-up there. I'm not a golfer, so I did not golf. But
couldn't imagine what you were doing around
I performed and did like fine, but not great. And but I remember the most happy I've ever seen Charles Barkley is when he saw you.
Yeah, so I knew I don't know if you guys, I didn't just happen upon this. I knew I was going to be talking to you guys today, and I went into a deep dive. I don't ever delete anything. I don't delete text messages. I don't delete email. Like, they sit there.
I'm so glad, because there's a photo I was looking for today that I couldn't find.
I found it today. I found it. So we were at the American Century Championships in Lake Tahoe. There's they do celebrity karaoke.
Yes, that's what we were.
Artie the Party. That's his name. I think it's official. Plays the piano and plays some background music, and celebrities get up and sing. And this has been for now a really long time. Charles Barkley is the ringleader of this deal, and you and I were sitting together. Clearly slightly behind me, like next to me, behind me, but next to each other. And Charles came up and started giving me a lap dance.
That's 100% correct.
And you snapped a photo of Charles giving me a lap dance. And he does have a very large smile on his face. Now, you don't see a whole lot of body action there in the photo.
It's mostly his head, I feel like, fills up most of the frame.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And I turned to you when it was all when he was finished, so to speak, and I said, I need that. I need that photo. And I this morning found an email from your BlackBerry.
Yeah, that's how I knew I didn't have it. That's how I knew I didn't have it.
Maybe you couldn't. I don't know if you could text pictures then from 2010. Mm-hmm. Yes, a picture of that, and then you also. I guess I had gone on stage and sung myself, and you had come on stage, and there is actually a much better shot of me singing to the people on stage back in 2010. Yeah.
Really funny. And he was the happy. Usually people giving lap dances don't. It was like he was doing it for him.
That's right. Let me assure you, he absolutely was.
It was like he had paid you for the honor of giving you the opportunity.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors.
Support comes from Tovala. Hey, Baji.
Hey, Sufi.
With Tovala, you'll avoid the daily 5 p.m. what's for dinner question once and for all.
Oh, boy.
Whose least favorite question was what's for dinner?
Mom?
Mom did not care for what's for dinner. Our poor father would work all day, and then on his drive home, he would call up his beautiful wife. He would try to connect with her over the question, what's for dinner? And she would tell him and then hang up the phone like somebody had just called up and like breathed heavily and asked her what she was wearing.
Yeah.
So cruel.
It was perpetual.
If Tovala had been around, I just feel like those would have been easier years for them.
Yeah, well.
She would have said, hey, Yeri, it's red wine braised prime rib and veggies. Does that suit your desires?
Yeah, and I think it would have. That sounds right up Yeri Boy's alley. Look, if you love great food but hate cooking or cleaning, listen up, because this just made weeknight meals about 10 times easier.
Yeri, tonight we're having a barbecue pulled pork sandwich. The next thing you would have heard is his tires screeching, squealing.
Tovala is a smart countertop, oven, and meal subscription that works together to make cooking effortless. It makes it so easy. You just scan the meal's QR code, pop it in the oven, and it cooks everything perfectly, steams, bakes, broils automatically. No guesswork needed.
And Pashi, heads up, Tavala's Smart Oven isn't just for their meals. You can also use the oven to scan store-bought groceries like Eggo waffles, Pillsbury cinnamon rolls, and Amy's frozen meals, to name a few. And it knows how to cook them, too.
Knows a lot. This oven knows a lot.
It's a smart oven. Here's the problem. You ever walk into your kitchen alone and you think, well, at least I'm the smartest person in here right now?
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
For a limited time, because you're a Family Trips listener, you can save up to $300 on the Tovala Smart Oven when you order meals 6+ times by heading to Tovala.com/trips and use our code TRIPS. That's up to $300 when you head to Tovala.com/trips and use promo code TRIPS. One last time, that's Tovala.com, and make sure you use promo code TRIPS for up to $300 off the Tovala Smart Oven. Remember, with Tovala, dinner is taken care of. Support comes from Laundry Sauce. Hey, Baji.
Here's Uvi.
Oh, man. We used to go to college.
Yeah.
Least favorite part of college for you?
I don't know, having to do laundry?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And one might say to me, did you?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question based on how you looked and smelled.
Well, look, what I'm telling you is if laundry sauce had been around back in our day, it wouldn't have been a problem. This is a back-to-school secret weapon. It's not just detergent, it's a whole setup. Ultra-concentrated pods, scent boosters, dryer sheets, fabric conditioner, all designed to work together, smell amazing, and show up at your door before you realize you're out.
College students, no more lugging giant jugs up 5 flights of stairs. Parents, no more emergency store runs in the middle of everything else you're juggling. The signature package makes it easy to stay stocked, stay fresh, and never settle for smelling meh.
And the best part, with the laundry sauce subscription, you'll never run out. You can get the signature package delivered on your schedule with flexible options and exclusive perks, no last-minute store runs, no heavy bottles to carry, and you always save. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off your entire order when you use code TRIPS at laundrysauce.com. That's 20% off at laundrysauce.com with promo code TRIPS. After checkout, they'll ask where you heard about them. Don't forget to drop our name, lock in your subscription to stay stocked, and step into the season smelling and feeling like you've got it all together.
Here we go.
So you mentioned you grew up in Atlanta proper or suburbs?
Yeah, I mean, suburbs adjacent.
Yeah.
Atlanta, little area. I think it's now incorporated, called Sandy Springs, right on the edge of Buckhead, which most people have heard of, and Sandy Springs there. But not far out. Now it goes Atlanta goes like 45 miles.
Yeah.
Like I'll run into someone and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm from Atlanta." I'm like, "Oh, I grew up there." And they'll say some words that make no sense to me that now, I guess, it's grown a lot. But yeah, I grew up there with my sister and parents, obviously. And yeah, had a great...
where does your sister land?
My sister is still there. My sister essentially never left. She and her husband both lived in and still live in the state of Georgia. Now my sister at I don't know, age 34 or something around there, maybe even 40. They moved to Germany for 3 years. I was like, that is a huge change. But then and then they went back. So I'm back, and obviously there's some work stuff that happens in Atlanta. Obviously is grown up now in terms of industry work. So I'm back occasionally, get to spend time with her back there. It's
and was
very
she
different.
older or younger?
She was, my sister was younger, 3 years younger. So we were we overlapped, but barely, right? Like in high school and so forth.
Were you close growing up?
We were close. I mean, legitimately, I can say this, and I don't think it is bragging, because I think it's not as cool. Like, I was actually a really good kid. I think any of my mischievousness I took out on her, but more in mild prank ways, where she'll still talk today like, "You tortured me," and I'm like, "Really?" And it would be much more just convincing her that leprechauns did exist, and that they would come and take her from her room. And then find green paint and all of this stuff, and her being just terrified as a child of St. Patrick's Day.
That's really good. I mean, anyone who puts time to actually get some crafts into their prank,
yeah,
I think
exactly.
That has to be celebrated.
Yeah, but no, really, we were good. We got along really well. She is super smart, way smarter than I am now. Is a lawyer, and has her family growing up in generally the same area that we grew up, and going to not the same high school, but just adjacent high schools. And I mean, I feel like she is giving her kids the childhood that we got, and it was fantastic.
That's great. Did you have grandparents nearby?
No, but here's the thing. Now, some people might think this is good. My dad was an only child, and my mom had one brother who never married. So there were only two grandchildren, me and my sister, in the whole deal. So both sets of grandparents, we were all they had. So there was like, it's not as awesome as you might think. Like there was a lot of sort of competition, I think, and like
I get that.
jealousy and like, well, where are you spending Christmas this year, or Thanksgiving or whatever. Like I feel like there was a lot of pressure on us to be sort of all things for all people, and I feel like as I've grown up in other families, like maybe Grammy and Grampy really like sports, so they like this, this grandkid, and they all sort of like can kind of pair off and be the favorites, whether they admit it or not. It was just us. Yeah, so that was that. There was some family tension around that, around holidays stuff.
Did are your parents educators? Do I have that right?
My mom became a homemaker pretty early on. My dad was a doctor, but he worked for, I don't know, I always say like 40 years or something. He was at Emory University, so he was really he was the head of the residency program there for a long, long time, and ultimately loved teaching more than he loved doctoring, though he still did practice at the university. So yeah, and he said to us as we were older, like he made that choice to not go into private practice because he wanted to be home. Like he didn't want to be on call every other weekend or whatever. So it was, a sporadic holiday that he had to be on call, and like very few memories of him like having to leave during some family dinner or something like that. So no, he worked long hours, but he was definitely accessible, and we traveled together.
Where did you? One, I would just say it does seem like you had a great deal with your parents. Like, is it safe to say that you were raised by really solid people?
100%. No, 100%. I would say that, and even so much so that we lived in the same house from when I was 5, and we moved into this area because the high school was the good high school.
Right.
And so we're going to move there, which gave him like in LA or New York, it's not as big a deal, but in Atlanta, it was like, 45 minutes or whatever for him to go to work over in Emory. But he did it because of this high school, and gradually this high school deteriorated in the 10 years or the decade or whatever. So we ended up going to private school, and his deal was always, I'm going to pay for this, but you're going to go to Emory University, which, by the way, is essentially like saying you're going to go to Duke, like regularly. You're going to go to Harvard or whatever,
you're going to like it,
and you're going to like it. Because it was free, and so he was like that. He was very sort of transparent about that. Like, I'm going to do this, and you have access to activities and other things that you want to do. And sure enough, I decided that I wanted to go into theater, and Emory did not. It's a fantastic school. My sister did go there, but they didn't really have the program that I was looking for. Like I ended up I went to SMU, which has like a conservatory, deep theater training place. And he was very much like, okay, well, you remember our deal, so you better go get a scholarship. I was like, okay. So I did. And I mean, that was part of our deal. I think he ended up paying, he showed me pretty recently, I think he ended up paying $1,900 a semester.
Yeah.
For me to go to and he was like, okay, that's good. You did.
Yeah, that's
enough.
Well. Right.
You did well. So I ended up moving away, but we were very close. Had a very good childhood.
When you traveled, what kind of trips would you guys take?
So I was thinking about that. It sounds fancy, and we were so not fancy, but being in Atlanta, we were very close to the Caribbean.
Gotcha.
So
yes.
our spring break, which, by the way, there wasn't all this like midwinter ski weeks or whatever they call these things now. We had 1 week, right, which was spring break, and I would say almost every year we went to an island, right?
Yeah.
Not in but it was so close, like it's not like even in New York or in the middle of the country, like flying or getting there. There was direct flights from Atlanta, and so that we did that, and so we snorkeled.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Were these trips, as a kid, do you remember looking forward to it?
100%.
Yeah, okay.
We had our own snorkel masks, and still now, like introducing my kids to it, I hadn't done it in so many years, but now my kids are getting older, and I'm like wanting to share that with them. And I getting the masks, and like we haven't bought the masks yet, which is so stupid, but like wanting to sort of replicate that experience that we had there with my parents. The good feeling that it gives, I think, is why.
I will say with like either goggles or like snorkeling masks, not my absolute nightmare is when one of the kids is like, it's not tight enough. Like then it's like, take it off, and then they're like, it's too tight, and back and forth. So
do you do it? Do you snorkel?
We do a lot of swimming. We don't. Yeah, we haven't gone anywhere where we've snorkeled with the kids. I think they're a tick younger than yours, but I think they would really like snorkeling.
Yeah, we just went somewhere, and they held an octopus, and like
at gunpoint.
Nailed it. But like in their hands, like these divers
How old are
going
they?
down.
What's a good age to hold your first octopus?
I think any age, but
like around double digits.
Okay, gotcha. And they so does this mean they're fearless?
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't scare them. I still, and I do, 50th anniversary of Jaws or whatever, like there is no doubt that is in my psyche. Like there is no doubt for me. This irrational, like, I love it. I do it. It doesn't keep me out of the water. Oh, but I'm scanning the horizon and looking behind me 100% of the time, and they are full on oblivious.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't intentionally swim with sharks? You wouldn't go on like a shark?
No, I wouldn't. No.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
No, but
Josh?
I think, I mean, part of me says I would want to go, I would do like get in a cage.
Oh,
but
God,
I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
God, no. Oh, no.
We're like the thing about human beings is we're supposed to be on the other side of the cage. If you're a human being who puts yourself in a cage on purpose, you're doing it wrong.
Would you always go to the same spot in the Caribbean, or would you pick a different island?
No, different. It was different, and so it was about the water for us. So we would do that, and then the other thing that we did, we would go to the beach, right? Okay. Well, this is going to lead it. So we would go to the beach, it's a 4-hour drive to basically anywhere, like Georgia, like around Savannah, South Carolina, northern Florida. It's all sort of very close to where we were. So this was like in the car, driving, doing the thing at the beach. And my mom's family, I mentioned before that my mom's brother never married. He preferred to go into situations and put himself outside of the cage. There is no doubt he would have had a reality show. Like if he were that age now, someone would have found him and been like, we're putting you on the Learning Channel or Animal Planet or something, like, because that was his life. Like he just did the nature things. My dad, not one bit, like not at all. My mom grew up with it a little bit. So when we went to the beaches, it was about crabbing, like fishing and crabbing, and kind of playing with alligators a little bit. Like this is a whole this is against my brand and my whole sort of identity now. But yes, we would go crabbing, and this is my sister and I and our other family friends, usually one family, but sometimes others, and like throwing a crab trap into a marshy area or the ocean or like whatever, that was not exciting for us as children. We wanted to do it like the old-fashioned way. So what that entails, if you're not familiar, is taking like a chicken neck or back,
okay,
and tying it to a string and throwing said rotted flesh into this marshy area, letting it sit there for a minute, and then very slowly pulling it up. And if you were lucky, you would start feel like almost like, I don't know if you're fisher people, but you would start feeling like something tugging on the line, and you would be like, oh, and sometimes it was just fish hitting it or whatever, but often it would be a crab. And so it would come up to a dock area, and it would be on the chicken, you would scoop it up, right? So it was like it was very competitive, right? As opposed to just throwing in a trap, letting it sit for 6 hours and coming back and seeing if
just finding the dumbest crabs in the marsh.
that are just sitting in there. So this happened often. There is one time that has become family lore for me and my sister. We were doing this on this very long dock out into this marsh area, and throwing in the chicken and doing crabs. And this one time, it's pulling pretty hard, but not as hard as you might think. With the end of the story, I think I've spoiled the
We're
end.
all thinking alligator at this point.
So we start pulling this thing up, and again, we're like in the 10 area, 10, 11 years old, and there is a massive alligator on the end of this chicken, and it starts rolling and doing all the alligator things, and we're just children watching this alligator do this. And we, of course, we're dumb children, and of course you should never do this, never, ever, ever do this. But we kept throwing it back in, and the alligator was kind of like wanting the chicken, and we were getting it from him. And suddenly the alligator, just with that dead eye above the water, just starts staring at us, and then just starts swimming. And we're like, oh, shoot, and kind of throwing the chicken, like sort of in the general area of it.
Swimming away?
Swimming to the side.
Okay, gotcha.
And suddenly, as we realize it's going toward the bank, we realize that this alligator is going to get up on the bank and thereby be blocking our way off of this long dock. And there is no doubt in my mind to this day, this was an intentional maneuver by the alligator.
Yeah.
So
it dawned on the alligator that a little piece of chicken was the amuse-bouche.
That is correct. So we all, as children, and again, like, you would say today, like, where were your parents?
Yeah.
Why? Like, this was us when we were kids. Like, how are they letting you out in a marshy area with an extended long dock where there are clearly alligators around? So we run off. The alligator gets up on the bank, and all we knew, because our parents had taught us this, is run zigzag. So we just ran, all 6 of us ran zigzag down the road to escape the alligator that was coming to get us. So that was our childhood. It sounds, so when you say you're going to an island in the Caribbean, it sounds fancy, but we were much more. We were a little more Georgia than that.
Yeah. When people from Georgia book, they're like, put them in Alligator Alley.
Exactly.
They'll be happiest there.
Would you be staying like at resorts in these island places, or?
Yeah, and when we would go like to the Caribbean, I mean a hotel. Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, I don't. But we would go to. My parents were fond of. They viewed it at least like on the spring break excursions as like giving us experiences, right? So like there's like in the Virgin Islands, there's like St. Thomas, but then there's also like St. John's and places, those other little islands that you can't fly to. So you would go and maybe take a boat over there or something, and to experience different, the geography of different places, and not be overly fancy, but still have the experience. But it was really, for us, honestly, it was about snorkeling. Like it was about like going and getting in the water. And I'm sure like my mom or dad at the time had guidebooks or whatever, like what are the best islands to snorkel on. And we would all do that as a family.
And on a snorkeling day, like how long a day was a snorkel? Like would you go out for hours at a time?
We would go out. Yeah. Like we would spend the day. Like we would spend the day for sure. Especially me and my dad. Like my sister might get over it, or my mom or whatever. But yeah, we would go out and, had the books and identify the fish. And
did you have underwater cameras?
No, okay. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all. I don't know. Did that
he
exist?
had to get me to email him a picture from my BlackBerry.
Yeah, I don't.
He doesn't have an underwater camera. All his memories are from people with BlackBerries who had to email it to him. Did you ever cross the threshold into scuba?
No.
Why not?
I have said when I moved to Southern California, I had decided, and spoiler alert, eventually got a pool. I decided that I was going to become certified. Like I was going to do, because I know you can like become certified in a pool and do all that. I never made the phone call. I never did it. I think as a kid, it was probably about that fear thing that I was talking about. Yeah. Like I think it was like the idea of being down, and I think even when I was thinking about becoming certified, it wasn't like let me go 100 feet down or whatever. It was more like, well, this would enable me to really check out the reefs. I'm pretty good at just doing free diving, but obviously I can't stay down that long. So I think I think it was about that. I know for sure. It was much more about that than for me. At the edge there of the drop-offs, I still have that.
Yeah.
I think there's a whole generation of people that movie did. It did that for me. As much as I loved it, the idea of going down where not sure that I could escape. Yeah.
I also don't like it, but for me, it's not the other, what's down there. It's like the apparatus itself. And I, look, obviously certification's important, instruction's important, but I was always like, this is too much stuff. I don't want to.
That's part of it.
Yeah. I'm like,
that's part of it for me too.
And you're just really with your thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've done it. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, I haven't done it for years, but I took a trip ages ago to Thailand, and it's the only sort of good thing that I did in Thailand. It was a bad trip. I went alone, and I got ripped off, and I got sick, and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay.
But I got certified, and it's really cool. Like, and I agree, it's a lot of gear. And to tip off a boat backwards is disorienting. Yeah. But as soon as you're under and you're breathing, it's remarkably peaceful, I found.
He got so ripped off that when he tipped over the side of the boat, he hit sand. and then they were like, this isn't a boat, it's a truck. And they drove off. Wait. I was on Martha's Vineyard this summer, and it was the 50th anniversary of Jaws. And it was so comical to me how there was so much Jaws tourism. Like, for a place to say, like, this is where the bad fake thing happened. Like, and it's gotten, like, this summer wasn't bad, but a couple of summers ago it was a little sharky, and everybody was saying, it's like global warming, just, get used to the sharks. Like, it's going to be a big part of your future. But it was so funny that they were like, this is where the shark movie happened. Enjoy the beach.
I saw all that stuff from afar. I wasn't there, and I thought exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So I have, again, that I have done almost everything to not give my kids the experience that I grew up with, like living on the other side of the world in a totally different way. But my folks are still with us, and they have retired to the coast down there, about 4 hours from Atlanta. And so really to visit them, but also I think to give my kids that, we go back. And point of that story right now is for the first time in my lifetime and going there essentially once a year for 1 to 2 weeks, I saw a shark in the surf. Like an absolute, just like an unmistakable, like, my brain was telling me it could not be, like that must be it, because there's dolphins. You see dolphins all the time.
Yeah.
But that unmistakable dorsal fin and the back tail fin sticking out and then disappearing and then coming out and sort of riding this wave. And I was like, oh yeah, this is like, I've never seen it. And then of course, getting on my phone and seeing that they're around much more now and coming in closer. And
you had a text from a shark saying, yeah, that was me.
How far away were you from it, or were people?
Sorry, I have to. This joke. No, the shark BlackBerry imaging me, a picture of me standing there as I have one of him.
Sharks are one of the last species still using BlackBerry.
They don't have iPhones yet. Yeah. It was like in where the waves were crashing, not far at all.
Yeah.
And then you read online like, most shark attacks happen in 3 feet of water. And you're like, and actually I think that's from the movie Jaws too, where they say that. And it's like, oh yeah, that was like, it would have been like waist high or, maybe slightly above for me, but not out there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. You mentioned dolphins. Like a couple summers ago, everyone was like, oh, there's whales out in the Atlantic Ocean. And so my father-in-law was dead set on seeing a whale. And so we were out, and while we were out, we were alongside a pod of dolphins, and it was like
a super pod, or
you couldn't believe it, and it was like 100 dolphins, and it was those majestic things, and my kids were like, "Where are the whales?" I'm like, Jesus, will you shut up? Enjoy these beautiful mammals. Yeah. Yes, I don't see a whale.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors.
Support for family trips comes from Airbnb. We're looking on the Airbnb website right now, trying to pick a home that will fit both my parents, my brother, and my boys. We're going on a trip together to Pittsburgh, and it's so fun when you just look at all these different homes that people are willing to share with you. And I love it. The welcoming homes you book on Airbnb, but it got me to thinking my home could do the same for someone else. And, I think especially someone who wants to come to an apartment that has more Star Wars Legos than they have in the Star Wars Lego factory. But think about it. If you host your home on Airbnb when you're traveling, it's a great way to offset some of the costs of your own trip. The extra income you make can be put towards an upcoming trip, a splurge you've been eyeing, home improvement projects, etc. And if you've got a lot of trips ahead of you, hosting is a pretty cool and unique way to make some money back. Josh is on a trip right now. That's why he's not here. Probably should have given me a heads up that was something we were going to do this week. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host. Support comes from Fabric by Gerber Life. Hey, Bajib.
Hey, Sufi.
Running a household can be a lot, especially with kids. Having a family plan in place can help wrangle the chaos. But does your household have a plan for protecting your family's financial future in case something unexpected happens to you? If not, Fabric can help. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done today. Made for busy parents like you, all online, on your schedule, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required.
Look, if you've got kids, and especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in low rates is right now.
Even if you have life insurance through your employer, it may not offer enough protection for your family, and it may not follow you if you leave your job. Fabric has flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/trips. That's meetfabric.com/trips. MEET fabric.com/trips. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Insurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
Here we go.
Would your single uncle, would he go on these trips, and would he be sort of a Pied Piper into nature stuff that maybe your dad wouldn't lead you into?
And would he be disappointed that the way Josh described him as your single uncle? He's like, hey man, I'm other stuff.
I wasn't sure how much I was going to go into this, but there was a period of time, and my dad now will say things like, I can't believe that we allowed that to happen. We would go to his place that was in Florida, and all bets were off. Like what we might experience, like chasing armadillos. I mean, look, we were Georgia. I said from the beginning, we were from Georgia. And again, I appreciate that time that we did, like we went shrimping, like as young children, like getting woken up at like 11 p.m. and like, this is when the shrimp are running. Let's go. And it's like,
how do you shrimp? What is the apparatus you use to catch
so
a shrimp?
Again, if this was
chicken on a string again, I'm going to be very disappointed.
it kind of, honestly, like not exactly, but this was not fancy shrimping boats, right? With, again, dragging nets that would catch shrimp and other things. This was, you would put lights on the side of the boat just to be able to see. And maybe, I don't know, it's been a long time. I don't know if the light attracts them, but basically you would go into these inlets when I assume when it was becoming high tide, like when the water was coming in. I don't know. Maybe it was when it was going out. Whichever way is better. You would sort of go there and anchor, and they would come by, and you would have a net and just net them. Yeah. Wow. And I mean, but 5-gallon buckets, like filling them with shrimp.
Wow. And like then eating it, was it?
Yes,
and then was it
100%. Yeah. I mean, my whole family really, there was not a lot of any sort of meat, fish that was bought ever. It was all. So in that regards, I totally support that. And I think it was really incredible. And the experiences that we had there, both fishing and shrimping, we did not hunt. He did a lot. But those experiences, like it was incredible. It was incredible.
So awesome. To get woken up at 11 p.m. is so rad.
Yeah. And just like, hey, we're going out on the boat. And then coming back when the sun comes, like if they're running good.
Oh, man, that's amazing. So it would be like a real night.
A whole night out there. Yeah.
Wow. When you say chase an armadillo, do you ever catch an armadillo?
I didn't. But I probably mildly chased it and then was like, oh, I can't catch it.
Shoot it. You kind of shoot it away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye. Get out of here.
Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to say his name right now, but basically it was called Uncle X's camp. Yeah, and we would go there. Yeah.
So he's definitely wanted.
To my knowledge, never been in trouble with the law.
Yeah.
But just like off the grid for sure.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Not like. No, I don't mean like certifiably like hiding from people. I just mean like. This is how we lived. Yeah.
Were you like in the Everglades, or were you more?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think exactly. This would be a little more central. Everglades is more south, right?
I think so.
I've also
never
be
been
totally
really,
wrong.
Yeah.
But this was like central Florida and then the coast, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are times when, like, we went back to visit my folks, and I'm like, guys, we're going to go crabbing. And they're like, what are you talking about, Dad? And I'm like, no, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get chicken, and we're going to put it on a string, and then we're going to catch. And they're just like, no, we're absolutely not doing that. And I, like, sort of try, but remember.
But no, it's the fun part of the chicken. It's the neck or the back.
Yeah, it's the neck or the
favorite
back.
part.
What is this? And then just like, but also not quite remembering fully how to do it or like where the good spots are or anything. And so just becoming
My kids have
lame.
clammed a little, but clamming is basically just like raking sand.
Right.
I feel like the thrill of the chase with crabbing, because nobody actually, you never rake up an alligator, for example.
No,
You guys were really in it.
No, I mean, they are everywhere there, though,
Yeah.
down, not up where you guys are.
No. I almost never see one. And
Yeah, no,
In
but
the
like
store.
Florida, like golf courses, you'll see them. I remember going to visit my friend Bobby Stewart, and he had this little pond near his house, and we definitely like were biking around that, and you'd see them there. It's
It's like
spooky.
everywhere.
see, I was going to say that's alligator scarier to me than a shark. It maybe is, because like when you see because alligators are faster than you think. When they come out of the water fast,
Yes.
at least with a shark, if you can get to the beach, you're good.
Land
I don't
shark.
care for either. I will just stress I don't care for either. Armadillo, when you said that, I'm like, that's a guy. I'd be pretty happy to see one of them.
Yeah.
Mildly chase it and then call it a day.
Just kind of run around. Maybe he's chasing me. You don't even know what's going on. That's how we're just sort of circling around the lawn.
Well, I think with alligators don't really live in water one wants to swim in. So the idea of just suddenly encountering one in the water is not so likely as opposed to a shark.
Right,
I think for me, that's why the shark thing is just like they are there. They are out there. They are around you. So yeah.
Back to the grandparents and the jealousy about where you might be going for Christmas. Would you do Christmas at grandparent houses?
No, so that was that is something some might call it selfish. That is something that I have enacted with my family now as well. Typically, my parents said very clearly, "We will be at our house, and you are all invited." Now, if we didn't have room or whatever, like some people may have to, but we could find another place to stay or hotel or whatever. But like, we are here. So not do the like, we're going to go to this house this time. And we do the same thing now, which I'm like, guys, everyone is invited. Everyone is my house is open to you, but I will be home and my kids will be home. Because I think for us, that was something we liked. Like just being home, the whole like for the holidays, preparing, we were sort of a part of it, as opposed to like when you have to travel around for whatever holiday, you become just sort of a guest. And we weren't close enough where it was like come around the corner to our house or whatever. So it was a trip for sure.
Where is your wife from? Where in the country is?
California.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's a little different. Yeah. It's a little different now. It's not the same. But still, it's like, anybody, my sister, my folks, you want to come, this is where we'll be. Please come.
Yeah.
That's great. It's so lovely to talk to you. And you were also, because I remember being at that golf event with you, you're a great golfer. Is that safe to say?
Look, if
multiple athletes told me that night, like Brian's a great golfer. So
I can hold my own.
Liars. Okay,
no, hey, I can hold my own, and I love it. The thing about the American Century Championship specifically and other of those tournaments, which they have a purse. Like it is like a professional golf. I joke with Charlie Hoffman, who's like a real professional golfer now. Like if we're playing, there's a few people with us and, I'll make some joke like, just two professional golfers teeing off here on a Friday. Because there's a purse. But because there's a purse, this is as I understand it, there's no handicap involved. So there's no strokes given. So like you've got Steph Curry, Marty Fish. Like you have guys who are going to shoot 5-6 under par.
That's how good Steph is?
Yeah, Steph won that event 2 years. Last year he did not come back. So, 2 years ago, 3 tournaments ago, right? So it's in July. He won. Then the next year, he had some stupid thing he had to do, like win the gold medal at the Olympics, so he couldn't make it. And then he was back this year and was in the top 5 for sure. But Marty Fish is known to be the best. But like he has a course record of a 62, par 72, 62 on that course during the tournament. Seth, this is not not me.
This is not you. Okay,
yes,
gotcha.
This is not me. So I can never win. I just try to do well. And look, I love it.
How do you measure up against the non-athlete participants?
I measure up pretty well.
Okay, good.
And there are more and more of us. Colin Jost has been there the last couple of years. Ray Romano is a and it's this event. There's some other events too, but Ray Romano, Rob Riggle, Nate Bargatze has shown up. Tim Simons from Veep. I know I'm missing people that I usually get paired with, but I measure up okay.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Other than these sort of celebrity or charity golf events, what's been the best golf trip you've ever taken in your life?
So it just happened. I've got this new podcast coming out, or that's out now. We Need a Fourth with Kenny Mayne and Cooper Manning. We were talking about before, and we got together to talk to some people, 1, and 2, to get us together. We shot some promo stuff, and we played together, and we went to St. Andrews in Scotland, the old course at St. Andrews, and played a few courses there. And it is spectacular. I mean, people have told me before, like, St. Andrews, but traveling halfway around the world, it's not like New York now. I'm in California. It's like 19 hours or whatever of travel to get over there, and so I'm not as adventurous about the golf travel stuff. Like I typically will do stuff with family, or I've got work stuff. But I'm telling you, if you're a golfer and if you want an experience, going there it is one of one. Because St. Andrews, and you always hear it, right? You've heard, right? The old course at St. Andrews. St. Andrews, maybe I'm an idiot. I am an idiot, but it's a city, right? But it is the only place I've ever been. It is a city that surrounds the golf course. Every single thing in this town faces, looks at, interacts with this golf course, and the culture of it. We just had Michelle Wee, Hall of Fame golfer, on the podcast, and she was talking about it as well. Like, there's something different there. Here in the United States, there is sort of an exclusivity, which I think turns people off about golf, like, you've got to join this place, or there's all these rules, and I feel like an idiot, and people are there. It's like Central Park, but it's the golf course. So like in the evening, people are out there playing with their dogs. People are lining and watching duffer, and this had nothing to do with the fact that there were celebrities who were there, and I'm not talking about, there were a bunch of other celebrities who were playing in this thing, but it wasn't about that. There were just people hanging out watching, watching people come up 18, and there's a very famous hole, if you know golf at all, it's 17, it's called the road hole, and the day that we played, the pin where the pin where the hole is on the 17th green was 3.5 feet from the edge of what seemed like a cliff, which went down onto a road. And this is a road that people walk on and can drive on, and it's just right there. It's a magical experience. I'll send you guys a photo of it. Stays dark there in the summer until 10:30 at night. And there's a shot, like I think at exactly 10:30 at night, the sun is just going down and I'm standing on the bridge there on 18, like one of the most famous places in golf, because I just walked from the road out to holding a Guinness just on this, and this we happened to have, I don't travel with a professional photographer, but one happened to be walking with me and took this shot of me there. And it's not like I snuck on and did something weird. We're just like, we're walking on the road and you're like, there's the bridge. It is magical. And to do it with those guys, Kenny and Cooper, and there were a lot of other people there as well, but it was so much fun. So much fun.
That is really, really awesome. Congrats on the new podcast. It is always wonderful to see you. But before we let you go, Josh is going to ask you our speed round questions.
Okay, speed round. Here we go.
All right, here we go. You can only pick one of these. Is your ideal vacation relaxing, adventurous, or educational?
Relaxing.
Nicely done.
What is your favorite means of transportation?
Plane.
Very good. If you could take a vacation with any family, alive or dead, real or fictional, other than your own family, what family would you like to take a vacation with?
The Simpsons.
If you had to be stranded on a desert island with one member of your family, who would it be?
My daughter.
Wow. You are from Atlanta. If you were the head of Atlanta's Board of Tourism, how would you pitch the city?
Oh, God, no, sorry. There were so many jokes that came in that I should not ever say. A great place to grow up. That's true.
Okay, great. And then Seth has our final questions.
Have you been to the Grand Canyon?
No.
Do you want to go?
No.
Great.
I mean, are you with you? I'll go with you.
I don't want to go.
Okay.
We went last year, and Seth still
I'm good.
is unimpressed.
Okay.
I love it.
Great to see you. Great to see you, Brian.
You as well. Yeah. Is that true? You were unimpressed?
It's fine. You know what it is? Everything you think and nothing more.
We
gigantic,
didn't
beautiful
go
hole.
below the rim.
Yeah.
We had our fantasy football draft on the rim of the Grand Canyon.
Incredible experience.
Yeah.
Being with my friends, but again, I would enjoy being with them on the rim of a dumpster. So I don't want to give all the points to the canyon for this.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm glad. Thank you for your straight honesty. I feel like a lot of Americans feel like they've got to pretend like that's their bucket list.
Yeah, it's like going to Vegas, and I have a joke with my old high school friend. We've been to Vegas a couple times for different. Bachelor parties or, someone's birthday or whatever. And there's one guy who's always like, guys, should we go to the Hoover Dam? Absolutely not. Like, there is no chance. And then,
I was just in Vegas with my wife and a couple friends, and we were going to see a show at the Sphere, and we had kind of a day where we didn't know what to do before going to the Sphere. And my wife said we were in a Uber the night before, and she was like, maybe we should go to the Hoover Dam tomorrow night. And the driver was like, I was like, have you been? What do you think? And he was like, it's a dam.
For me, it's like the Grand Canyon. I have had to drive by there. But to me, it's like, really? And one year he arranged a helicopter because it had become this joke, like, should we go to the Hoover Dam? And I still said no.
Well, we had our draft at the Grand Canyon because we asked this question on the podcast, and then the guy who got to pick where the draft was picked Flagstaff, so we could drive up there and force Seth to get there.
Burn me.
So, yeah,
Just burn me with a trip to the Grand Canyon I had to go to. Great to see you, Brian. I hope to see you in person soon. This was such a pleasure.
I hope so as well.
And send me, if it's appropriate, I'd love to see the Barkley picture again, too.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, great. Be well, my friend.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Bye.